Talofa atu, Bula Vinaka, Maloni, Kia ora, and warm Pacific greetings. My name is Natalia Nu, and I am going to be your MC for this evening. I'm a community pharmacist in Hillsborough in Auckland. I have a great passion for pharmacy. I've owned my own pharmacy for 9 years now, and it's my passion for pharmacy that has brought me here, along with Casey and Diana. And so with that said, we'll make a start. I'd just like to invite David Louie to come forward, just to start the night with a prayer, and he will be followed by Diana, who will say a few words acknowledging the events of the past week.
So from the many islands of the Pacific, I greet you this evening. From the islands of Aotearoa, New Zealand, kia ora. From the friendly kingdom of Tonga, mā loe lele. From the rock of Polynesia, Niue, whakaroholai atu. From the atolls of Tokelau, mā loe. From the Republic of Fiji, Bula Vinaka. From the beautiful Cook Islands, kia orana. And from Tuvalu and my own islands of Samoa, Talofa. Before I go any further, in recognition of the tragic events of last Friday in Christchurch, of which so many of our brothers and sisters and families from the Muslim communities lost their lives, can I please invite you all to be upstanding? And we just pay 1 minute silence as we reflect and pray silently in your own ways and in your own language for those who lost their lives and their families, and indeed for our whole nation as we mourn and heal from this tragic event. Excited, and it's a real privilege to be asked to open our evening at this very important event with a prayer. But before I do, I'd just like to add a few words. E iho ku fa Samoa e whapea. O le waa na whau wao, whau pō. There's a Samoan saying and proverb and a fishing metaphor that a vessel that has been developed and built during the night and during day. So, and I think that this occasion is a result of many nights of preparation, maybe a bit of anxiety, sweat, all help to kind of bring us to this point. And I'd like to acknowledge all of you, particularly the pharmacists, who I know has been working on this for a long time, and Pharmac and the staff, and everyone else in this room who have contributed to bringing us to this point in time. So today we get to launch the vessel on its next part of the journey. Staying with this fishing metaphor, we say also in Samoa, e lo loto ala samia e lo ala wala ia. The ocean may be deep, but the fish still find their way. Now, I'm sure that there will still be more challenges as you journey forward from here, but we're all confident, and I'm certainly very confident, that you will find your way. So we're very excited to be here to celebrate with you and to wish you well, and we'll join you and help you along that journey into the future. So let's just ask God's blessing for your journey and our journey as we move forward from here. Let us pray. Lo mātou tamapa iae o lo whioreranga. O maurunga pēr lo no whuanga. O lo whoi lau sila whia re nei whamui moe. O lo lau sila whia nei so whawhita uli sa whengai. Mai la tō sa tāpena re nei la whamui moe. Leo tamu i le nei asu. Mātou te whawhoi atu ai le whawhtai marami i ngā lau whio. Matataro e whapēona e whatasi mai pēr. Fua'i le tomai, fua'i le marosi, i le tino, le anganga ma le mawhauwhau. Awale, le nei lau whangai moe ma le nei sosi. I ngā ruenga la whengai mai la tau fisosoani i tangata Pasifika, ai tainane tangata Lautelia, New Zealand. Our Father in heaven, we come together this day to celebrate, but also to ask your blessing upon the Pharmacists Association and its work going forward from here. We believe there will be challenges, but we ask you to help them, to help us in this journey forward, so that we may bring much good in the area of pharmaceuticals to assist Pacific Island people and indeed all people in New Zealand. We particularly recognize and ask your blessing upon our nation, upon our Muslim communities, as we mourn and we heal from the tragic event, and pray that you will comfort, that you will strengthen the Muslim communities and indeed all of our nation as we move forward together. May love and peace and harmony exist in our nation, that we accept our differences and see that as a strength rather than something that divides us. We ask your blessing upon this night as we celebrate, that we may enjoy each other's fellowship. We also ask your blessing upon the food and the sustenance that we will receive later, that it might nourish us. And this is our humble prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Nisam Bolavinaka. Kia ora. Assalamu alaikum. As we gather here tonight to celebrate unity and diversity, we would like to honor these 50 beautiful, early hiccups. And I'll start that again. So as we gather here tonight to celebrate unity and diversity, we would like to honor these 50 beautiful souls that have passed away in Christchurch in the last week, which included 3 Pacifica brothers from Fiji. When a Muslim says salam in their language, what we mean is that may peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you. In a matter of minutes, the world of my entire Muslim community was turned upside down. Our hearts are breaking. We are in pain. But we are not broken. This is because we know that we are not alone. The whole country mourns with us.
to honor the fallen. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "The believers in their mutual kindness, compassion, and sympathy are just like one body. When any part of the body hurts, the whole body feels pain." The outpouring of endless aroha, compassion, and support from all over the country has been overwhelming, and we as a community are so grateful for all of it. Words will never be enough to describe how thankful we are to be a part of New Zealand. All Kiwis, regardless of race, religion, or gender, are in need of that love and that support, just as the Muslim community does at present. So I am sending all my love to you all as well. Please keep that love flowing endlessly. It helps all of us make sense of the things that's happening around us and just to be able to move on with life. Aroha nui, kia kaha, New Zealand.
Thank you, Diana, for those beautiful words, and thank you, David, also for your kind words. Before we start, we would like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished guests. We are privileged to have Matawhanua Hilda Fa'asalele, Chief Advisor Pacific to the Ministry of Health. We have Andy Shirtcliffe, Chief Advisor Pharmacy to the Ministry of Health. We are also excited to have both Deans of the Schools of Pharmacy, Carla Mara and Dr. Jeff Harrison. We also have the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of New Zealand, Steve McMichael, and Joe Hikaka from the Māori Pharmacists Association. Welcome. And of course, all of you who have taken the time to attend our launch this evening. Your presence here shows your support for the PPA and for the good work we intend to do. Tonight is the culmination of a lot of hard work from the Executive Committee of the PPA. We've flown up and down the country, we've had teleconferences that ended after 11 p.m, and we've had many truly passionate discussions about our profession, our cultures, and how we really want to do great things for our Pacific communities. In saying that, let me introduce you to the other two members of our exec. Casey Brown is our president. She is Samoan, born and raised in New Zealand. She is a hospital pharmacist. She is a hospital pharmacist at Tairawhiti DHB, but has also worked at Wellington Hospital, Capital Coast DHB. Casey is also the owner of Horauta Pharmacy in Gisborne, alongside her husband Kevin Pewhairangi, who is also the newly elected president of the Māori Pharmacists Association. Their vision is to foster strong relationships within the community, focusing on Māori Pacific health. They're using their knowledge in medicine, culture, language, and tradition to be the voice of their people and to educate for a healthier Aotearoa. Casey has a role as Associate Dean Pacific to the School of Pharmacy Otago, and her main interests lie in paediatrics and neonatal health. Diana Fone is our Vice President. Her work life is currently divided between Waimaku Village Pharmacy as clinical leads for the Oni Maigout Service, Counties Manukau DHB, and the Safety and Practice Community Pharmacy Program, Waimata DHB. She is passionate about providing high-quality, people-centered care and improving health outcomes through quality improvement, innovation, and integration. Her recent achievements include being awarded the 2017 New Zealand Pharmacist of the Year and recipient of the 2018 Honorary White Coat from Otago University School of Pharmacy. Very shortly, Casey will give her presence address, but before that, we'll just give you a rundown of the evening. Hopefully everyone knows that the main exit is there and we'll exit through the front doors. The toilets are up and around the corner. As you can see, there's a slight change to our program as unfortunately the Honourable Jenny Salester is no longer able to attend. But Matawhanua and Andy have graciously stepped in to save the day, and they will give the keynote address later in the evening. Diana will then present our strategic framework, which is pretty much our plan going forward, and hopefully all of you can be a part of it in some way. That'll be followed by dinner. After dinner, we will have Alison Hill from from Pharmac, who will give a short presentation. And then we are very grateful to have Sandy Bowen, Fellow of the Pharmaceutical Society of New Zealand, to give us a brief story about her journey as a Pacific pharmacist in Aotearoa. This will be followed by a chance for us to get some feedback from all of you, which will be quite exciting to hear what you guys think about us. And then we'll end the night with a few thanks, some dessert, and hopefully some real discussions about a lot of different things. So without further ado, I'll ask Casey to report.
Tūlauna o Paia Samoa e tupu mai e o le atunuu. O le a leo o le ai so leo. I lau awhionga ma tawhanua, awhionga te kuliai, ai taina ne fo'i lau awhionga I le ngawhatasi. Whape le mamalu wa whatasi mai I le nei awhiawhi. Talo whalawa ma lo le soifua maua ma le lani e mama. Tuatahi me mihi ka tika ki te mana whenua o tēnei wahi ngā iwi me hapu katoa. I want to welcome you all here tonight with the warmest of Pacific greetings. To our honourable guests from the Ministry of Health, Matawhanua and Andy, whakalofalahi atu. To the CEO of Manukau DHB, Whipuliai, Nisa Buluvinaka. To the CEO of Pharmacy Council, Michael Peet, and President of the Pharmaceutical Society of New Zealand, Malo Elilei. To our Head of Deans of Auckland and Otago Universities, Jeff Harrison and Carlo Mara, Malo Ni. To our Māori Pharmacists Association representatives, Joe and Arthur, kia ora. And to our Pharmac supporters, Alison, Sandy and Fui Mauno, kia ora ana. To our Pacific Pharmacists Association members in this room, Māori, and of course our technicians, assistants, students and interns that have gathered here tonight to support our launch. Aloha mai e. I pay tribute to the mana whenua, iwi and hapu of this area for having us here tonight. Thanks be to God for this occasion, who has brought us here today in his loving care. I must first pay my deepest condolences to the victims and their families of last week's tragedy. I pray for peace for the families directly affected. I pray for hope that we in Aotearoa can be better, that we can unite and embrace our diversity. I pray for love, God's love to surround us always, and I pray for forgiveness. That we can forgive those that have hurt us, and that in God's care we can grow and learn together in harmony. Tonight marks a very special occasion for the Pacific Pharmacists Association. Tonight we get to present to you who we are, where we have come from and where we are going. This is an opportunity to meet and thank those members that helped us form this association. We are here to meet with other professionals, organisations and individuals that we feel we will be able to have a future relationship with, working in collaboration towards common goals. I'm deeply humbled by you all for being here tonight, taking the time out of your busy schedules on a Friday night. It's testament, I believe, to the hard work that we have put in over the last couple of years. And I believe that this shows that there is a real need for us to be a part of the health workforce in our special capacity of being Pacific and being pharmacists. We know that we are a small group, but we can bring a tremendous amount of support and contribution to the Pacific communities by working alongside established organisations and people in this room here tonight. I want to take you through the journey, Ula Omalanga. I want you to experience the wā that has been sailing for several years now, at first with no real direction at all, but eventually guided by the help of four winds. It all started when I left university. I had come from a network of support, Pacific Islands Health Student Professionals Association, the Otago Samoan Student Association, and the Pacific Islands Health Centre. I was surrounded by people that could meet my academic needs and also my cultural needs. Once I left university, all that support was gone. There was no academic support systems in place, and neither were there cultural ones. And this is what I believe felt like to be a Kevin, my now husband, at university was always going off to Hui in Rotorua every year. And one year I actually asked him, can I come with you? Can I join? We could do this together. I never got to go, but I knew that our health disparities were similar. We were both at the bottom. Through Kevin, I met Leanne Karu. I'm sure a lot of people in this room will know who she is, and I was immediately in awe of her achievements. She was the inspiration for forming a Pacific version of the Māori Pharmacists Association. Now this was back in 2011. Around 2012, I actually started the Facebook page, the New Zealand Pacific Pharmacy Group. I tried to find Pacific pharmacists through networks and organisations, but I fell short. Over the years, I did draw interest, however, from nearly everyone but Pacific pharmacists. Even the pharmacists working in the islands like Tonga and Cook Islands contacted me, but they were New Zealanders. Engagement on the page was hard. It was like drawing blood out of a stone. I had numerous articles in the Pharmacy Today trying to draw in pharmacists, and it worked, but again, they weren't Pacific. I nearly started to think that there were none of us around, or that people weren't interested to know who we were. Through this page, I met Natalia, and I was reintroduced to Diana, who I actually studied with. And it wasn't until 2016 when Pharmac came to Porirua in Wellington. I actually snuck away from work to attend that meeting because I knew I wouldn't get the time of day to go, and this was the break that I needed. Pharmac were doing the Pacific Strategic Framework, and I jumped on board to help with this. In 2017, as promised, Pharmac came back to the community to tell us what they were doing. From here, with the help of Natalia, Diana, and Fuima Onofono, the guiding breeze began to fill the sails. Last year, in 2018, we were formally able to register as an incorporated society, and this wouldn't have been possible without these two ladies standing here with me tonight. Special mention does go out to Tanvir as well. Thank you for coming, Tanvir. He did also help us as well. The Va'a journey doesn't end here though. This is only the beginning. Our vision is to be a part of the community, a part of the profession, and a part of the health system. Working positively to drive change, and that's change in numbers, change in disparities, and change to our people. We want to work alongside and in collaboration with these established organisations. We are a unique entity. We are Pacific and we are pharmacists. Our aim is to empower our communities through medication-related views. We can be very powerful in this space of Pacific communities and engagement. This is what we are not. We are not a tick box to a strategy, to a plan, to a framework, or to a steering group. I do not want to encourage the use of the Pacific Pharmacists Association to be used for the completion of having someone Pacific to be a representative. We are here to make a change, and if your strategy, plan, framework, or steering group has space for change in Pacific health, then that is where we should be. Not a byproduct of a system that feels it needs to acknowledge Pacific to complete a picture and tick a box. I say this with the utmost respect because this has been a long road to get here tonight. I am passionate about this association and I want to help make a change. For me to help and protect my community and my people, my whānau and ainga, I need to know that the work being done is authentic and genuine. We are also here to help grow the profession, whether that is in the role of pharmacists, technicians, or assistants. There is importance in having Pacifica in our workforce. We want to encourage and showcase the career opportunities that pharmacy can bring and support our youth to think of these options. I believe that we can be very influential in this space, and I do look forward to watching the workforce grow. I would like to end my speech with a Samoan saying, "Ole ala ili pule ole tautua." The way to authority is to serve. This saying is the foundation of Samoan culture. In order to lead, one must serve. I am a servant to my people. I am serving my community in the best way that I can. And I hope that we can all journey together, whether this be on our va'a or yours. As long as we're sailing in the right direction, I know we will make a change. Once again, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, because words really cannot express the feelings of gratitude and sincerity that I feel sharing with you, our association. Please enjoy the night. Please make the most of this short time together. Not often we get everyone from all walks of life together. There's plenty of food, so please eat up, please smile, and please relax. It's a formal launch, but it's an informal setting, so please enjoy the night. Whawhitai awhiwhi o mai, whawhitai langolango sua mai. O se upu o sasi, whaamagalo le au auna. Soifua mai ia manuia.
Thank you, Casey. That's the first time we've heard your speech. So, the touch, it's very nice. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite up our very special guest, the Tawhanua Hilda Fasalele, Chief Advisor Pacific Health, Ministry of Health, and Andy Shirtcliffe, Chief Advisor Pharmacy, Ministry of Health.
Ia māloa fua le aso, whaatai e lofa le tua o tātou whenua I lani a mā, e leo le taha pe papa. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak. Well, really it was the Associate Minister of Health who's supposed to be here, and I'm a poor replacement. However, I think it's a real honour that she was unable, an honour for her to be here, but and apologies that she's unable to be here tonight. And so both Andy and I are here to represent her. I just want to say a few words before Andy comes up, and really it's just to acknowledge the work that has been started by the pharmacists. My personal experience with the pharmacist group came a few years ago when I was attending Pacifica Festival, probably about 5 years ago I think it was, and I actually met Natalia's mother. She was sitting in a booth and we somehow got talking, and as we talked I asked her about, she told me about her daughter who was a pharmacist. And so one thing led to another, and I said to her, give me her name, give me her phone number, and I will make contact with her. Well, we did make contact with each other, and I managed to get an opportunity to visit Natalia at her pharmacy. And I think since that time we have kept in contact. And I've found opportunities to also work in with the pharmacy group and support the work that they've been doing. So it's a real honour for me to do that. I just want to also say there's a couple of things that Casey, you spoke about which are really important, but having read through some of the things that you've written, I think ultimately the key thing that comes through to me is the reason you're doing this is you want to make a difference for our communities. And I think when we consider what's happened just recently, I also consider the fact that there are important things in our lives that we need to hold on to in the work that we're doing. As I was coming here, I was reminded of my father who last year passed away at 93 years old. And our family had a specific page, and we had a hashtag which was hashtag GPOP. So every time he'd say something or share something that we thought was, the kids most especially, was quite humorous, they'd note it and then send it around. And one of the things that I was reminded about was one of my nieces asked my dad if he was happy. She said to him, "Are you happy, Grandpa?" And his response to her was this, and he spoke in Samoan because in his final years, even though he could speak English well, he mostly spoke in Samoan. So his response to her to the question, which was, "Are you happy, Grandpa?" He said, "Olo fia e bei a ua o te mo e male atoa, e te le mauau." And for those of us who are Samoan here, you'll understand that response means, my happiness is just like running really, really fast, and you can't catch me. And I think at the end of the day, this captures for me the essence of why we do what we do. people like my father, who was never supposed to reach 93 if we go by the statistics, but he has managed to live a full life and live it in a way that he wanted to, and see his grandchildren, his children, his grandchildren, and grandchildren grow, is really important to us who consider family to be, first and foremost, one of the most important things in our lives. I want to, before I pass on to Andy, just also read an excerpt from Island Time by Damon Zalesa, who many of you may know, if not personally, then through some of his writings. The Pacific future has already happened. Auckland and New Zealand are becoming more Pacific by the hour. This is not a change visible at the airport or at docks as it was when we, the Pacific population, grew through migration. These days, the chief ports of entry for Pacific peoples are the country's maternity wards. Nowhere is this quite so evident as in Auckland, where one of every 4 babies born is of Pacific descent. 1 out of 4 is Asian, and around 1 in 5 is Māori. New Zealand's future is being shaped right there, and it signals a very different future from what many might expect. This is one of the many critical contributions Pacific people are making to the future shape of New Zealand. In a country that is otherwise ageing, the median Palangi population age is 38. One of the young and bright spots is the youthfulness of Māori, median age 23.9, and particularly of Pacific people, median age 22.1. However it might play out, the future will increasingly rest in the hands of Pacific, Māori and Asian peoples. And I say that with all due respect to our New Zealand population, but if we look around, it has changed and it's changing, and we need to contribute. We need to allow the contribution of these populations to contribute to the change of the health system for the future. Again, on behalf of the Minister of Health, Associate Minister of Health, who was unable to be here tonight, she would also, through the words that Andy is going to share, also want to be part of this Pacific Pharmacists Association. So congratulations to the team for all the work that you've done leading up to this, and also congratulations and thank you to Pharmac for the support that you've given Alison here and also Fono. Thank you for the support that you've continued to give them over the years. Bafte lava. Andy Shurtwa.
Thank you, Hilda. Thank you to the Pacific Pharmacists Association for the opportunity to be here. The Minister truly is, truly is sorry that she can't be here. The life of a politician is an unpredictable one on a good day. Hilda and I were very keen for you to hear the words that the Associate Minister wished to share. So we did a run around in the deep, dark depths of the ministry to find the speech. I'll do my best to do these words justice. Malo alele. Thank you, Diana and Natalia, for your warm welcome and for inviting us to celebrate this important milestone. We feel very privileged to be here to see you launch the Pacific Pharmacists Association. It is a huge achievement to go from a Facebook page to an incorporated society in just 2 years, although as you mentioned there are many years before. We'd like to acknowledge the Executive Board for all of their hard work and dedication to initiate this society, and also your passion for improving the health of our Pacific people. As many of you are probably aware, the Associate Minister's father was a pharmacist in Tonga, and so he has seen the work of pharmacists and pharmacy firsthand and understands the importance of the profession. Pharmacists are often at the centre of our communities and the first point of contact for people. There are over 1,000 pharmacies right across Aotearoa, so we need to make sure that we are utilising the pharmacists' skills, their accessibility and their reach into our communities. Pharmacists are frontline professionals and medicines experts. They play an important role in helping people manage their health and understand their medicines better so they can stay well. We need to make sure that our health system supports a more integrated primary health care system and to get the best from the pharmacist's skill set. Last year, the Prime Minister announced the government's priorities and long-term plan to build a modern and fairer New Zealand that New Zealanders can be proud of. This vision has three key outcomes: an economy that is growing and working for all of us, improving the well-being of New Zealanders and their families, and making New Zealand proud. Under the improving the well-being of New Zealanders and their families, the key objectives are to ensure everyone is earning, learning, caring or volunteering, support healthier, safer and more connected communities, ensure everyone has a warm, dry home, and make New Zealand the best place in the world for children. You all play an important role in these goals. Three of our government's priorities are of particular importance for the health and disability sector. If we want to make sure people are earning, learning, caring and volunteering, and to drive the government's priorities to support healthier, safer, more connected communities and make New Zealand the best place in the world to be a child, we need to be sure that our public health system is strong, equitable, is performing well, and this of course includes the pharmacy sector. The government is committed to achieving equity. Whilst the health system is working for most people, we all know that not all New Zealanders receive the care that they need when they need it. We all need to work together to make sure our health system is working well for all New Zealanders. Ensuring that we have a diverse health professional workforce will improve access for a wider range of people. We need to make sure that there are increasing numbers of Pacific health professionals, and one way to achieve this is by encouraging more Pacific students to choose to become health professionals. We're pleased to see the Pacific Pharmacists Association working with both schools of pharmacy to encourage students into the pharmacy profession, and to see you providing mentorship to pharmacy students. The government is committed to developing the Pacific health workforce. There are a variety of initiatives underway to encourage young people to seriously consider careers in health. And the Ministry's Pacific Health Scholarships have contributed to the development of the Pacific health and disability workforce, including the pharmacy workforce. Last year, 150 scholarships were offered to Pacific students undertaking a course in health studies. And this year, the Ministry received nearly 250 applications. I am sure that the support that your association is providing to pharmacy students will be invaluable in supporting them into the profession. We need to focus on improving Pacific health outcomes. The Ministry officials have been asked to develop a new Pacific Health Action Plan. I don't think we're going to stop it. This work will determine, which is not that formal, this work will determine what the key areas of Pacific health are and where we need to focus on and the specific actions we need to take. As Pacific health leaders, I encourage and invite you to participate in the process. The Ministry will be advertising the upcoming Whānau Talanoa in the next couple of months, and we look forward to coming up with solutions together for improving Pacific health. Thank you again for inviting us here today. From me personally, I'd like to thank you as well for the work that you've done and for your being here. I'm really excited about this association, and I personally pledge anything that I can do to support you all. You should be proud of what you've achieved so far, and we look forward to seeing what you achieve in the future. Go well, enjoy your evening, and peace. May peace be with you.
Thank you so much, Matapanua and Andy, for your kind words, and thank you to the Honourable Minister for her kind words. It is a call to action from us and from you, so I'm very excited about that. We just have a small token of appreciation for your participation in the night, so it's a gift from us. Thank you. So now I'd like to invite Diana, our Vice President, up here to present our strategic framework. So, what is the Pacific Pharmacists Association, or PPA for short? The PPA is an association for Pacific pharmacy professionals in New Zealand. As Casey mentioned, we are registered as an incorporated society. Our key stakeholders include Pacific pharmacists, technicians, interns, pharmacy assistants, pharmacy students, and the Pacific community. The underlying factor that brought Casey, Natalia, and myself together to form PPA was our passion and our commitment to make a meaningful difference to our Pacific community and to our profession. There is so much that we as execs want to do with this association, but we needed to put some structure to our thoughts and set some goals and some objectives. Hence, we got together and drafted our first PPA strategic framework. This framework intends to give the association some direction. As the exec committee grows and as the association grows, the strategic framework will be reviewed and will grow accordingly. So our purpose is to work together to empower our Pacific communities to achieve equity and best medicines-related health outcomes for our people. These are our values that guide our strategic areas and objectives and what we will recognize while working towards achieving our vision. I'd like to share with you our thought process behind each of these values and what it means to the association. Togetherness. We acknowledge the Pacific cultures, values, and customs that are unique to each island in our Sea of Islands. We will walk together with our people, our pharmacy colleagues, and the wider health sector. Commitment. We are committed and accountable to our members, our communities, and our profession. Quality improvement and innovation. We want to build a strong foundation for a well-equipped workforce. We want to reduce variability in care and enhance and innovate pharmacy services so that they are more responsive to our Pacific communities. Leadership. We want to foster and nurture Pacific leaders in healthcare. We want the Pacific pharmacy workforce to be recognized and valued for their key role in healthcare. So these are the 4 strategic areas that have been identified as the key focus points needed for achieving our vision. Our objectives stem from these strategic areas. Educating to empower. Objectives include promoting pharmacy as a profession, improving cultural competency, and health literacy of our communities and the profession. Advocating to drive change. Objectives include advocating on behalf of our members, enhancing the profile of Pacific pharmacists, and representing our members on issues and initiatives that concern our profession, our communities, and the delivery of health services to the Pacific community. Networking for greater impact includes building strong networks between members of the Pacific pharmacy workforce and fostering relationships with other organizations and groups that share similar goals as us. Strengthening an innovative workforce.
providing support to students interested in pursuing a career in pharmacy, disseminating key information on training and scholarships or funding to our members, and providing mentoring and support to Pacific pharmacists, interns, and students. Our initial efforts will be focused on increasing the visibility of PPA, connecting with potential PPA members, promoting pharmacy as a career amongst our Pacific communities, and building relationships with organisations that will benefit Pacific pharmacy workforce and our Pacific community. Here's a description of what our success may look like in the first 24 months. So membership of the PPA has grown and the profile of the association has increased. Our Pacific communities will have access to easy to understand information about their health and their medicines. Pacific people are empowered to have conversations with their pharmacy providers. PPA will have formed and strengthened relationships across the health sector. Pacific youth are more aware of pharmacy as a career option and will choose to enroll in pharmacy-related courses, be it being a pharmacist, a technician, or an pharmacy assistant, So we welcome constructive feedback on the strategic framework, and as mentioned earlier, as our association grows and as the exec committee grows, our strategic framework will grow accordingly. That's us. Because a lot of work into that strategic framework. But thank you so much for listening. I will just invite David Lloyd back up to please bless the food for us.
Le tapano swafa, lo mato tamai, o lo fualtino, e ai o lo wina moi mato te Tarelo familia mo se malosi mai eu mato chiuchi famu e foi lá tona tapenaina le swafa Yesu amen.
Everyone, as many people as we can over here today, build that relationship. And the exec committee is here as well to answer any questions that you may have. And we'll be back at 8:45 for the last part of the evening. Thank you.
Help from Pharmac, the Director of Engagement and Implementation.
Oh,
Sorry,
You changed my name.
I'm so sorry.
That's lovely. Malo e elelei, bula, whakalofalahi atu, kia ora koutou, and greetings to all the guests who've gathered today. Malo le soifua manuia. I'm Alison Hill, Director of Engagement and Implementation at Pharmac. Look, thank you very much for this opportunity for Pharmac to offer some words of support and encouragement to the Pacific Pharmacists Association. They've given us the great honour of the after-dinner slot, so thank you for that. It's great to be here, and it's an absolute honour to be here, to be part of this event, and to be here alongside academics, health sector colleagues,
colleagues and leaders, and the Pacific pharmacists who are part of the newly formed association. We really do feel that's an honour. It's been a privilege to be part of the development of this organisation. On behalf of Pharmac's Chief Executive, Sarah Fitt, she's sorry not to have been able to be here this evening. So you've got me, and you've got my colleagues who you know well, Sandy Bowen and Whunu. There he is. There he is, right at the back. So we're really pleased to be here to celebrate with you the formation of the first Pacific Pharmacists Association. I also want to say tonight thank you for all the speakers who've given us an opportunity to reflect on the events that have happened in New Zealand in the last week. You've said a lot of the things, I think, that all of us have been thinking and feeling. But I also want to thank the association for giving us something that is a change from those sad reflections and an opportunity to come together and celebrate in a week when we need a bit of celebration to offset that sadness. So congratulations, guys. What started as a Facebook group is now a legal entity. I want to extend my congratulations to Casey and Diana and Natalia for where you've got to. It's a huge milestone, and it really speaks to the passion and commitment you have for the health and well-being of your communities. Our support, Pharmac's support for this group, emerged from the development of our Pacific strategy, which was launched in 2017. The aim of this strategy is to improve the health of Pacific peoples by improving access to and the use of funded medicines. You know, as Diana presented your framework, I was really struck by the alignment between your strategic approach and our strategic goals as well. So not just the what you're trying to do, but I was also struck by the alignment of values. You know, you're holding up some values that we would say are the values that we want to work to. The team that Whunu and Sandy are part of are absolutely passionate about this, and I think those values would hold, are values we would hold dear to. Pacific pharmacists, of course, are working with their communities every day to help them get the most out of medicines. We want to support Pacific pharmacists to do this so that Pacific peoples better understand the medicines they take and know how to use them in the best possible way. Pacific pharmacists, of course, have a really unique role to play in improving the health of Pacific people in New Zealand because they're at the front line and because they have that level of trust from their communities. Increasingly, I think we're probably all aware of research and literature that's pointing to relationship and trust being absolutely key to adherence and to people getting the outcomes that they should from their medicines. The other key thing from our point of view, I suppose, is that the Pacific Pharmacists Association will support Pacific pharmacists to continue to serve and improve relationships with the community and find other ways also of influencing the health of Pacific peoples. So we look forward to working with the association, and we do encourage our health sector colleagues and other parts of the health sector to embrace and support this up-and-coming group. Casey, I took what you said, the challenge you gave us, not to allow ourselves to use the association as a tick box, and here you are, I'm saying for Pharmac, we won't do that. So there is a saying in ancient Samoa that translates as, it is not the destination, but the journey. So we wish the Pacific Pharmacists Association all the best as they go from strength to strength. Enjoy the journey, grow, be innovative, and don't be afraid to push the boundaries for the betterment of Pacific health outcomes. We're right behind you. Kia ora.
Extremely embarrassed about the spelling of your name. I apologise. We just have a small token of our appreciation for your kind words. Thank you so much, Ella. support to this point and going forward, so thank you. Now I would like to invite our next guest speaker, Sandhya Sandy Bowen. She was a fellow of the Pharmaceutical Society of New Zealand last year, and she's going to share with us her journey as a Pacific pharmacist living in Aotearoa.
I apologise in advance for sticking to one cultural thing, and that's following the island time. So, Nisambala Vanaka, Namaste, Kesehe, Assalamu alaikum, Kalafalava, Maloe Lele, Whakalofa lahi atu, Kia orana, Whakatalofa atu, Maloni. Kia ora koutou, nā mihi mahana, e te wā ki a tātou. Ko sa letu toku maunga, ko Nandi tuku awa, ko Fiji Indian tuku iwi, ko Sandhya Bowen tuku ingoa, and ko no Fiji aho. A very warm welcome to you all, and especially to our special guests. Your presence here indicates really strong support for our nearest pharmacist association. A week ago, our nation witnessed the unfolding of a horrific and tragic event, and we've started our evening and still kept reflecting, acknowledging the tragic loss of lives, the impact on their loved ones, and actually on our nation, Aotearoa. 3 brothers from the Muslim community who lost their lives, and some of those who were injured were part of our wider Pacific community. They were from Fiji. I feel like I've lost a part of my family because I share my heritage with them as a fellow Fijian. I was born at Lautoka Hospital, a port town in one of the main islands of Fiji, and my mum said it was a stormy night and it was raining really, really hard. Now, whether the rain was a sign from God, was a sign of God crying because he felt sorry of what was being sent to the world, or crying because, there were tears of joy at the masterpiece, I will never know, but I had arrived. I grew up in the best place in Fiji, the town of Nandi, although those from Fiji will contest that. My ancestors were brought from India to work on the sugarcane plantations in Fiji under the formalised slavery system, known as the indentured labour system, that was run by the British Raj. Fiji was one of their colonies, as was India at the time. So I am a 4th generation Fiji Indian, the eldest of 4 children, born to amazing parents whose marriage was an arranged one. And so that's my backstory. I grew up believing the tourism strapline in Fiji that said, Fiji the way the world should be. Although I think if the Tui beer ads were around, then someone would have said, you're right. Because the military coup of 1987 changed the story and life course of many. A year after the coup, I migrated to New Zealand with my parents and siblings. I was in my teenage years, and it wasn't easy for us or our parents. So I'll share with you some of what I observed and experienced. This is my observation, it's not a generalization. I observed that New Zealand schools were not ready for students who brought rolled roti and curry for lunch. Students found it smelly, it looked disgusting, and they would sit away from us. And the term curry muncher was coined. New Zealand schools were not ready for students who ate food like rice with their fingers, or whose parents owned dairies and drove taxis to make ends meet. New Zealand students felt threatened and uncertain by the new competition or talent that us immigrants brought and would withhold important information. They laughed at how I pronounced certain words like innocent instead of innocent, comfortable instead of comfortable, film instead of film. New Zealand schools were not ready to award higher marks to students who had just come into the country. New Zealand schools were not equipped to pronounce Hindi names, and so from Sandhya, I became Sandy. My school report consistently said quiet, reserved, does not participate in discussions, I mean, look at me. But with very little awareness that my reservation and quietness came from the fact that English was my second language. And that actually by the time I translated that conversation and discussion in my head and something to say, it wasn't too late. The conversation had moved on. The quietness had a cultural context. We don't say much if it's already been said, and we don't say if we're not invited to speak. So the cultural norms were different. 30 years on, most of these sentiments have thankfully either disappeared or in some cases reversed, with now my New Zealand-born children telling me, "Mum, I will not be taking roti and curry to school because it smells funny," while the rest of New Zealand is quite happy eating curry. New Zealand is now one of the most ethnically diverse countries in the world, and I'm proud to be in a nation that embraces and places a high value of diversity, and we've seen that throughout this week. So why and how did I become a pharmacist? Well, it's a 21-year-old story, and I can't tell it all tonight, but I'm going to share with you some moments of inspiration and honour some members of the profession who helped me believe in me. And central to this journey has been my Christian faith, which gives me the wisdom, the direction and the guidance to step in and serve according to the talents and giftings that's been given to me. So let me take you back to the Pacific. In the sleepy little village of Visaruba, my very poor grandparents somehow saved enough pounds to send my mama, who is my mum's brother, Mr. Pushpachan, to Great Britain to study, out of all places. In 1972, he came back. He graduated as a pharmacist from the University of Bradford. He was the first in the family to get university education, and he opened his own pharmacy called Island Pharmacy. It's still there to this day. He was my inspiration to become a pharmacist. His remarkable journey is another day's story, but I do have some very fond memories of spending most of my holidays in his pharmacy. Some things haven't changed much. Unpacking stock, sticking prices using the price guns, you know, those ones that have come up, putting stock away, watching him type the labels, tapping on an old school typewriter with his 2 fingers, and swiftly counting the tablets using the dispensing trays, making creams, ointments, talking to patients, giving advice, coming and opening the pharmacy at night when people were in need. But my fondest memory is hanging out in the dispensary for some of those chewable vitamin C tablets, which he would let us dispense ourselves using the trays and make labels. Anyway, I liked what he did, and I was determined that if he could do it, so could I. And so I came to New Zealand with that aspiration intact. So my secondary schooling, after I'd done that, I went and did a Bachelor of Science in Genetics and Molecular Biology at Victoria University in Wellington. Then I went on to do pharmacy at the University of Otago, School of Pharmacy. I graduated with first-class honours, and my honours project investigated the metabolism of medicines in the New Zealand Polynesian population. And we found that there was genetic variation in the way people of Polynesian descent handle some medicines. For those of you who were around Otago at that time, you'd remember that the lead researcher around these sorts of work was Dr. Sompon Wimmelrock, who was a beautiful Thai lecturer that we all enjoyed having, he was teaching us. So this was my first foray into Pacific Health, and actually it earned me my first publication in the European Journal of Clinical Pharmacy. Now, to my surprise, at the end of the 4th year, I was also awarded the Pharmaceutical Society of New Zealand Top Student Prize. Yep, I was officially a nerd. Or as my husband put it, what a fluke. And in case you're wondering, yes, I'm still married to him. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think I may be the first Pacific pharmacist who would have received that award. Now, I got the most sought-after internship, but the most lower-paid internship the following year, and that was at Dunedin Hospital. But it was where the who is who of hospital pharmacy worked. And so here I was mentored and supported by some amazing pharmacists like Desiree Kunak, Jocelyn Livesey, some of you will just not know these names, Dave Woods, Diana Booth, Annie Egan, Steve Fowler, Linda Bryant, the late Marianne Luke, Sarah Plank, Andrew Copeland, Jenny Mackay, Melissa Woodbrook. And I also worked in the community pharmacy, Knox Pharmacy, so Lex Grant was also a key mentor. 6 months into my internship, man, I was the medical wards pharmacist, or intern pharmacist, and I was having a blast. First year post-registration, Professor John Shaw, who was then the clinical pharmacy head at the Otago School of Pharmacy, asked me to cover some of his teaching duties while he went on sabbatical. He later described this request as taking a leap of faith in me. challenge at the same time. It was a highlight because, oh my God, I got John Shaw's office on the 7th floor of the Adams Building. It's like the newest office ever. And it was a challenge because I had to now be able to teach the pharmacokinetics of phenytoin to undergrads. And pharmacists will know how difficult that is to understand. Anyhow, he has since then been a very close friend of mine and a close mentor to me. This leap of faith turned into a teaching fellow role, and the late Professor Peter Koval, the then Dean of the School of Pharmacy in Otago, offered me the role of a lecturer despite not having done a PhD, which I didn't take on. Following the teaching role, I went on to work at Wellington Hospital, where pharmacists Pauline McCoy and Marianne O'Rourke were my mentors, and had many highlights there, but a couple that really stick out for me is actually the first ever joint preferred medicines list which was primary and secondary care with therapeutic guidelines, and also neonatal drug monographs for the Wellington NICU, which is the neonatal intensive care unit. It was here that I saw and appreciated the resilience and determination of humans, whether they were born prematurely or whether they were fighting a terminal illness like cancer. And every time someone lost their fight, I learned to celebrate the life I had shared with them as a pharmacist, their journey, and what they'd imparted to me about life. I was then invited to work at the Pharmacy Council of New Zealand, where the ex-CEO, Bronwyn Clark, who is now CEO of Australian Pharmacy Council, provided me with the opportunity to lead and develop foundational pieces of work that advanced the practice of pharmacists and ensured the competence of pharmacists. And among many things I did there, the highlights for me has been the development of the pharmacist prescriber scope of practice, the development of the medicines management competence framework, and the intern program accreditation standards. Then came an invite to work at Te Awa Kairangi Health Network, a primary healthcare organisation in the Hutt Valley. This role was really special for me because actually it was in and about my backyard. And I had many opportunities to improve health outcomes at a population level now, especially for those who were the most vulnerable. Equity was at the heart of what I did, and every day I witnessed how the structural inequities and social determinants of health manifested as poor health outcomes for those who were poor, or who were Māori, who were Pacific, who came from refugee backgrounds, or who had mental health illnesses. And for the first time in my career, my mentors were not pharmacists. They were Bridget Allen, who was the CE of that organisation. I had Sally Nicol and Muriel Tunoho, who were working in a very low-cost access practice where they just served these populations, and another person by the name of Jenny Prentice, who gave me a lot of mentoring support. And in this moment, there was one defining moment where I was talking to a person about their medicines because they'd been referred to me by their doctor. And I was armed with my armamentarium of, I'm going to tell this person about their diabetes medications because I'm sure it's because they don't understand it, that's why they don't take it. And she looked at me within 30 seconds, I think, a minute into the conversation, and she said, Sandy, it's not that I don't want to take my medicines. It's just that I don't have enough money to be doing this every 3 months. She wasn't just on one medicine. So I take my medicines every 2 or 3 days because that makes it last longer, and isn't that better than not taking it at all? And it was at that moment, I think, as a clinician, I mean, I can't do anything actually about what is hindering this person from accessing their medicines. So just over a year ago, I was invited to work at Farming, Te Pātaka Whairanga, the storehouse of well-being, as their principal advisor to the newly established Access Equity team, and Alison's alluded to a lot of this. I sit within Alison's directorate, and it's a real pleasure to work with you. This role that I'm in is to provide advisory leadership to Pharmac's strategic goals, and it's to eliminate inequities in medicines that are already funded, and it's going to make a meaningful difference to the health outcomes for our most vulnerable populations, of which Pacific is one. So here I am now, as a pharmacist who is Pacific, working in an area where we can have national influence. In 2018, I was humbled to receive the designation of the Fellow of the Pharmaceutical Society of New Zealand. And Ian's here. I think Ian called me, and I said to Ian, "No way!" And Ian goes, "Yes way!" made is making a meaningful difference, and it is very, very humbling. And this recognition, while it's not because I'm a Pacific pharmacist, that's implicit, that's who I am, it is, I think, I do believe it is for the first time, perhaps been awarded to a Pacific-born pharmacist. I just have to check the facts, but I think it's pretty much that. So, I hope that one part of my story and my journey has somehow inspired you to be the best that you can be every day for the people you care, and to have the highest aspirations for yourself, for your family, for your community, and your leaders who are here today, Casey, Natalia, and Diana. Have the highest aspiration for them and support this organisation. Thank you for the honour of giving me some time to speak as a guest speaker at this launch of your association. It is a reminder of the common heritage we all share as people from Pacific, a reminder that we all have stories that define us and make us who we are today. It does present an exciting opportunity for our Pacific workforce to showcase their talents and giftings, an opportunity to be the voice for the people of Pacific, an opportunity to meaningfully contribute to their health outcomes and therefore their aspirations. So I leave with you a quote by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi that inspires me to do what I do every day. And he says, "Be the change you want to see." Vinaka Vakalevu no reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. God bless you all.
Thank you so much for that, Sandy. I think if any of us can aspire to be even a fraction of the kind of pharmacist that you are, I think we'd be doing a really good job. So thank you. We have a small gift as a token of our appreciation for you sharing your journey, and for also all of your help with this evening and with our formation. Thank you. So this is a part of the evening where you guys get to participate. We've given you kind of an outline of what our strategy is, but what we want to know is what you guys think of it. So to facilitate our group discussion, I invite Diana back.
So this is why we have kept desserts to the last part, because we're going to make you walk for it. So, the Pacific Pharmacists Association is nothing without our members, and we can't represent our members if we don't know what our members want from us, or what the members want from this association, or what the members' thoughts are. So what we're going to do for the next part of the evening is, on your tables you'll find copies of the strategic framework that we presented earlier. You'll also find post-it notes and pins, so I suggest you arm yourself. We will present you with 3 questions. So we'll go one question at a time. What we want to hear from you is your ideas and your thoughts and your suggestions behind each question, each idea, each point on one post-it note, please. So we'll do about 7-8 minutes discussion per question. You can put your thoughts, or you can have discussions around the table. You can discuss in pairs or threes. Please keep the post-it notes, because we will be collecting that, and that is what is going to form our thinking going forward. So the first question is, what role could pharmacists have in addressing the challenges faced by Pacific people navigating our health system? So if you could just grab your post-it notes and your pens, have a discussion around your table, or just in pairs, or just yourself. One idea per post-it note, please. After 7 minutes, we'll send a mic around for each table. So we'll just want to hear 1 or 2 thoughts from each table.
Being a bridge between the medical system and the Pacific community, and the bridge is being a facilitator, an interpreter, an informant, a counsellor, and many other things.
Anybody else from your group? National. Can I get a rep from your group, please? One of these young ones come. Will the future of pharmacists.
I think pharmacists, any pharmacist, could do an education around the medication for Pacific families to understand. I work in the Child and Youth Mental Health Service, and most of the families that come through don't know what SSRI are. They don't know what Ritalin is. They don't understand whether they take medication with a full glass of water or on an empty tummy, and how many tablets to take. And I think translation of those labels will be really interesting, and encourage those people that come to the pharmacy to get their scripts to ask questions about whether they understand what medication is all about.
Encouraging patients to run a support person is another one.
Okay, thank you guys. We'll move on to this group. Please have, just for the others, please get ready. I'm coming around.
So I guess I'll just say one thing that's probably relevant to people sitting in the room is making sure that as pharmacists, and we took this to be pharmacists in general, we are actually advocating for the need to hear Pacific voice at all levels of the healthcare system. So, so basically, at the coalface, but also policy, legislation, advisory groups, governance.
Talofa lava, whakalauwha lai atu, all of the May I just offer my congratulations on behalf of the Pharmacy Council. We're really thrilled to hear this association form. It's really exciting, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Unfortunately, I did get nominated to be the spokesperson. It wasn't very democratic, I might add, but I am truly speaking for the whole team, and so I think I'd be better described as a scribe rather than a spokesperson. But the team came up with some fantastic points, building on everybody's ideas, strongly pushing the fact that Pacific Island pharmacists make great advocates, recognising a much more holistic approach, helping to demystify the world of science and medicine, helping to identify the challenges that sit within the healthcare system, and helping to navigate our Pacific communities through that health system. So you often are the first point for many people in our communities, and particularly obviously you have an opportunity to grab those Pacific patients and help take them through the health system in a way that achieves a much more holistic and hopefully a much better health outcome. Also pointing out that often you have an opportunity to help other pharmacists within your workplace, and helping to once again break down the cultural differences, recognising the journeys that many have taken on, understanding the social context of social people and other cultural differences, and being able to relax and recognise and pull that in and teach your fellow pharmacists when they're faced with a difficult patient that may not be fully understanding what is going on around them at the time or their particular journey. You can help demystify that. Obviously, many of you may well speak the languages of the Pacific as well, and obviously to bring that into the practice and helping the more elderly patients perhaps at times feel comfortable and that they're welcomed if you're able to speak the language. So commend you, well done, congratulations, awesome.
Is your volunteer?
Thank you for volunteering me. Very, very kind of you. Actually, you're not the youngest person. I'm not the youngest person. I guess from the perspective of the schools, one area that I thought would be useful from our point of view is, and we both have integrated curricula at our schools, and we do work quite hard right now at integrating the Maori content and bringing that into the relevance, into skills labs and things like that. What we haven't done at the University of Otago, I'm not sure about the University of Auckland, is really integrating that kind of material for dealing with specific patients. And I think we need help and assistance in getting that done in a good way, so that we build this form of cultural competence early and allow them to develop it early in their careers and give them some sort of a foundation in that regard.
Okay, anyone else has a burning...
So you've had the youngest member of the table and now the oldest member of the table, at least in looks. So I think we've made a start, certainly, in terms of incorporating some Pacific Health structures and communication frameworks, but we certainly, I would echo Carlo's thoughts, we do need a lot of help, and we would welcome you with open arms to be our partners with that. A couple of things that I had thought about was, in promoting pharmacy as a career, I'd actually suggest we start much earlier. One of the challenges for us going into thinking about taking our students out of health science first year, actually we really need to engage with kids at school who are in year 10. And one of the strategies that we've started with is actually not talking to them about subjects, but talking to them about the key attributes, what it is to be a pharmacist, you know, in terms of what sort of person it takes to be a pharmacist, and promoting that, you know, caring for others, being part of the community and contributing, rather than saying, hey, take chemistry. So I think that's quite an important part.
I was too slow doing this. Again, I'd like to echo my congratulations. I'm Margie Upper from Counties Manukau District Health Board. How proud we are to see you launch your association tonight. We really look forward to supporting you. Diana does some awesome work at Counties. I also just want to shout out my colleague Sanjoy Van, who's the Chief Advisor for Allied Health, Technical and Science Professions. He's a pharmacist. Sanjoy has run a large general medicine division, and he's on the executive leadership team at Counties Manukau. So pharmacy is taking over the world, you reckon, Sanjoy? So we really like the idea of a pharmacist as a navigator of the health system. They're a much less threatening profession for our community to approach, and being able to help people understand medicines in context of their conditions or illness was really, we like that idea. So we're just echoing, because most of our ideas were discussed by others. And innovations that work for Pacific people, we think pharmacists will see the world slightly differently and have a very different relationship with patients, and so that opens up some opportunities to be quite innovative. And I think some of the things that Diana's doing on Oh My Gout, you know, warfarin management in a pharmacy setting, the kinds of opportunities for pharmacy to help people manage long-term conditions in medicines. It doesn't require them to keep going back to their GP. It's a much less threatening environment if it's in a retail setting. All those opportunities are really cool for, and you know, pharmacists are right at the real, you know, the opportunities there are really awesome. And again, Sanjoy's made a whole lot of innovations in our hospital pharmacy that we've been really proud of. I just want to tell a bit of a sad story about how important it is that we do increase the health literacy of our Pacific communities. My service told me that at Middlemore we've recently had a patient that has been referred into dialysis. He's quite a young man but very unwell, was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. For 2 decades his diabetes has been out of control, but he's prescribed medication, sees his GP regularly, but nobody really picked up that it was out of control. And when we had some people talk to him by the time he got to dialysis, and he didn't want to have treatment. He was quite prepared to die. He was only in his late 40s. People realised, actually, this guy's got a needle phobia.
And one of my colleagues said if the GP or somebody had picked that up earlier in his life, they could have prescribed, or a pharmacist could have given some advice about a different kind of oral form of insulin that might have been more palatable for this patient. But that kind of a different perspective from a patient's perspective is really important. So we just endorse and echo your work at PPA.
Any volunteers who want to share your comments?
I'm Abdi Talwetom. I just want to congratulate the Pacific Pharmacy Association on your inauguration. I'm the chair of the Pacific GP Network. And so I want to just exhort you to start and hang in there. It's not easy. In fact, it's really hard. I mean, fantastic funded you. That's, I can say organizations will fund you to start up, but you've got to keep looking to keep going. So, how will I work with you? With our network, May the 18th is our GP Pacific chapter of the College of GPs. are meeting here in Auckland. So it'd be nice if I'll send the invitation that you come and join us and talk to us about how we can work together. Visibility is really important. And so I can see all the organizations represented here. You need to be visible to them so that they see you, hear from you. You're just about, die of exhaustion going to conferences and talking about the Pacific Pharmacy Association, but it's necessary. My final point is you need a strong business model as a pharmacist. So I always tell students that get a scholarship for Pacific Health. Go and study because you're no use to us as a student. You qualify, come back as a doctor, great. You're good to us and you're good to the Pacific community. As a pharmacist, you will know if you run your own business, the huge challenges that are there. But you need to have a strong business model. You're no good to anybody as a bankrupt pharmacist. So I know that sounds really mercenary, but I like being mercenary. So please run a good association, but strengthen yourselves in running a good business. Because you are much more effective to the community and to New Zealand as a country as a strong pharmacist. Thank you.
Actually, we really started working with the Pacific Pharmacists Association even before tonight. So Sue, who I'm co-supervising with PhD, and Diana and I had a great meeting and really appreciated being able to share research ideas and ensure that we weren't reinventing the wheel, but working together to get the best answers to the research. So thank you, Diana.
Any other ideas? Thoughts? I'd like to hear from community pharmacists.
So I'm not a community pharmacist, but I've got a great interest in showing Scarho women to entrepreneurship, innovation, and business modelling. So just carry on your conversation. I'm into research, but I'm also into seeing service delivery which improves the health outcome of individuals in New Zealand, particularly Māori, Pacifica, and low socioeconomic. So if you're into business modelling, social innovation, entrepreneurship, providing good clinical care and having a sustainable business model, come and talk to me.
I'm a community pharmacist. I just wanted to say, I think how we can work with PPA is actually embracing the fact that we can speak our second language. Sometimes I think this is just the day-to-day running of the pharmacy. Sometimes
And also working with, echoing their words as well, on going into the communities, talking about our profession, maybe at the schools or you can represent us. That will help our profession as well. And we also discussed that with the PBA, I think we can be heard not at every level, basically, whether it be legislation, governance, or at right where the actual interaction occurs.
Well, I think a lot of what we were thinking about has already been said, but what I really would like to advocate for and support you get and do is to encourage and support creating a bigger Pacific pharmacist workforce. And not just the pharmacist workforce, but use you as role models to actually encourage and engage in creating a wider Pacific health workforce.
So we'll finish the question session over here. We'll leave that question on the screen. If you have thoughts about that question, about things that we haven't thought about at the moment, but you'd like us to consider, if you could just put it on post-it notes, leave it on your table. We also have with us membership forms. So if you feel inspired and if you want to come along with us on our journey and would like to become members of the association, please take a membership form, fill that in, either give it to us tonight or just email it to us. Yes.
Thank you so much for all your feedback. I know it's pretty late on a Friday evening and everyone's got full tummies and it's full of good thoughts, so thank you so much for sharing it with us. Just in conclusion, I suppose on behalf of the three of us, we'd like to thank all of you for coming. It's been a long road and so yeah, it's really great to know that we're so well supported. We have just some special thanks that we wanted to throw out here. Obviously, we want to thank Pharmac. Your help, like I said, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are today without you. We've got our initial formation committee members. We had Teresa Letta, who's a pharmacist in Christchurch. She's still part of our group, but she's got other commitments. And Tanuya Shah, who is moving to Australia. We want to thank our families, who thank you, Casey's mum, for supporting us and obviously giving us the drive to become Pacific pharmacists. I mean, we wouldn't be here without you, without your support. Our kaumatua, Fuima Unoka Polotu Enderman, who couldn't make it tonight, but he provided a lot of guidance for us in the beginning. Matawhanua Hilda Fasalele, obviously a driving force from the start and still supporting us through. Andy Shercliffe, thank you so much for your kind words and for your offer of support. We will definitely take your word. And Arthur Ball, who I emailed frantically looking for some guidance on how we go about this whole process. And your guiding words and your sobering words were really helpful for us to get to this point. Our last big thank you goes to Fono, who is amazing. So Fono, you've been there every step of the way. Every time we're kind of a bit lost or the three of us can't decide on something, you're the decider. So you're kind of unofficially the fourth member of the team. So thank you, and to Sandy also for all of your help and also helping us just tonight. It's just been amazing. So thank you everyone. Let's have some dessert and enjoy the rest of the
So there's desserts out in the foyer as well as we've got the evening booked till late, so if you want to stay, chat with us, chat with your people that you've met today, go ahead. We'll just get Fono to close the evening with a simple prayer.
I'm not going to speak too much, everybody's talked today, but to these three ladies, there's a Samoan saying, which that the best thing we can do is pray, support, whether it is walking around, handing the mic around, whether it's us making whatever we can to support your group, but we would like you to succeed. That is the main. Okay, let's pray and conclude this meeting. I'll pray in my mother tongue, or the heavenly language. Le tua o mātou whawhtai la o whio le nei aso, le loto lo toio lo o nganga le nei mawhitanga. Whawhtai le tua i nei taitai o e au maia. Mātou te whawhtai o lātou mātua mo lātou ainga. I au maina o nei taitai. E whisosoani a wā ia le anu alu I luma o le ngā luenga whaasoi marolo ina I tutono New Zealand me se mātou tangata Pasifika. Mātou te talo lo nganga e whamanuia le nei mawhitanga. Whamanuia e so se tasi o loto lo toi le nei mea. Ono lo suafa Yesu. Amen. That was Samoan and that was the heavenly language. Thank you.
Sorry, before you go, we have a gift of appreciation for your hard work.
Please help yourself to desserts. And thank you so much, guys, for coming here tonight.
Please, I like
Yeah.